Hey friends, it's Deanna here, and today we're sewing the Monday morning dress. And I don't know why it's called the Monday morning. I'm thinking it's because it's so easy to wear, you can just throw it on Monday morning, but I'm thinking that I'm gonna call it the Monday morning because it's so easy. You could make it on a Monday morning when you're rushing and Mondays are crazy. So this is such a chill dress, easy to make, that it's like Monday morning dress. Let's make it on Mondays. So anyway, we're gonna do it, but before we get started, I want to remind you of our giveaway for Ellie and Mac. So all you need to do to enter our giveaway for our $50 Ellie and Mac gift certificate, it's to make sure that you subscribed and then comment below and you will be entered, and we do that monthly. So go ahead, subscribe, pause the video, subscribe if you haven't, and comment below. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. So here we go. First, we're gonna grab our front and we're gonna lay it face up on our board, and then we'll put our back, or either way, but they're gonna face right sides together, and we're gonna meet at the shoulders so we can put those shoulders together. And as you can tell by what I'm wearing today, I'm obsessed with fruits right now, fruit fabric, and I'm having a hard time finding it anywhere, but indeed, I look for it everywhere I can. So now I'm going to go ahead and sew the shoulders together. So whenever I find some, I get it, because I love it right now. I love florals and stripes, but I feel like I was using florals and stripes a lot, so I wanted like something different. So now I'm going into the fruits. I need to find some vegetables pattern. I would like that. Okay, so now that we did the shoulders, we're gonna do our sides. Because we're doing bands, we're gonna go ahead and sew those sides together, and then we'll attach the bands. So side 1 and side 2, still right sides together, and we're just putting them together. This is going to be so easy. And there we go. One side and the other side. Do I look like a Monday morning today? My hair is kind of just pulled back, and yeah, kind of do look like a Monday morning. All right, so now that our bodice is put together, ooh, I'm excited about this one. We're gonna go ahead and put our bands. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do everything to the bands, the same thing to all the bands. We're going to fold them long ways over here at the, at the short side, and we're gonna make them continuous bands. So we're just gonna go sew these bands together right here like so. So I'm prepping all 3 of them, and I'm just gonna go and sew. 1 band, that was the neckband. Here's 1 armband, and here's my other armband. Now I'll separate them. I cut them really close to the edge because when I fold them and serge them on, it'll get serged, so I'm not worried about fraying. Now I'm gonna fold them, and I'm doing the same thing to all 3 of them. Wrong sides together like a hot dog. Yes, I like my finger, because this is double brush poly and it is slippery. So I have to lick my fingers so I can get them. We're meeting the raw edges. We're folding them like a hot dog and meeting the raw edges. Make sure that they're all meeting together. And I'm going to give it a little steam, steam, steam. I'm doing the same for all 3 of them. So here's my 1. Here's another. And I'm licking my fingers for all 3 of them. Sorry. Again, usually I don't do that when I'm sewing for somebody else, but this dress is for me, so I figured it's my own spit. That sounds so gross when I say it that way. It's my own spit. What do you use? Because I know that you run to this problem. Run by this problem. Run to this problem. Run around this problem. What is the correct way of saying it? No wonder my iron wasn't steaming up. Would help if I plugged it in. My other band and my last one. This is my neckband. You can tell because it's longer. Okay, so all the bands are together. Now again, I'm doing this to the 3 bands. I'm going to quarter them. So this is my center over here where my seam is. I'm gonna go out to one side and quarter right there, and that's my front. Making sure it's even because I don't want it to have a gap. And then I'm gonna meet the front and back, and I go out to the sides, and here's my quarter and my quarter. And we're gonna do that to all 3 bands. Front. Sides. Those are my quarters. And I notch, it's just a tiny little notch. When I sew it together, it will not even be there anymore. It will be all gone. It'll get eaten by the sewing machine or the serger. But I just like it because sometimes, you know, pins or clips tend to sometimes fall off. And then you're like, oh, junk, where is my quarter at? So this way, if my pin falls off, where's my quarter at? Right there. We're gonna do the same to the arms and neckband. So you meet the shoulder seams. We're doing the neck first. Shoulder seams go to the side, to the back. That's my back quarter. Shoulder seams go to the front. That's my front. And then we don't want to use the shoulder seams for our quarters because then it won't be even. Our neckline at the front goes lower than in the back. So if you do the arms, you're gonna be about 1.5 inches, 2 inches too short, and then it won't be an even neckband. So you want a quarter. So you meet the front and the back, and then you go to the sides. Now your armpits, you can grab. Those are circular, so you will circular. So you just have to do the front and then the 2 sides. That will be fine. Make sure, because I don't want to lie to you. Yeah, they're basically the same thing. So I'm just gonna do that. Meet the front, the top and the bottom, and go out to the sides. Top and the bottom will be the front. Okay, so now I'm gonna grab my bands. Let's start with the neckband, but we'll do the same thing for all of them. I always like to put my back seam in the back, so I'm gonna meet that with my mark that I made for the back. Right sides together, the right side of the band touching the right side of the bodice. Then I'm going to meet that next part. Raw edges together. And then I'm going to meet the front. Raw edges together. And then the last one. And now we're going to sew that neckband on. I always make my neckbands face up, my bands face up, so I can see how much I'm eating or whatnot. My bowl on my serger went out. I do a little bit of a starting little surge, and then I grab where my quarter is, and I pull, and again a little bit, and then I go. Making sure that I'm touching all 3 layers. Again. Make sure they're even, pull a little bit. Making sure I'm grabbing my 3 layers and nothing else from underneath. Sometimes they tend to bundle up and want to catch. You don't want that. And then my last one. And my neckband is on. Okay? Now you will steam your neckband. And we're gonna do the same thing for the armbands. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing for the armbands. Just pin them right sides together all the way around and so on. We're gonna do that and then we'll move back to our next step. All right, so I put my bodice aside to finish that up in a little bit, but we're gonna go ahead and move on to our skirt. If we're doing pockets, we're gonna put our sides up. We're gonna grab our pattern piece where it shows us where the pocket is at. Pocket placement right here. We're gonna put that right on top of our pattern. We're gonna grab our pocket and we're gonna put it face down, right on top, right sides together, right where the placement starts. Where the line is, that's where we're gonna put it. And remember, we're putting it right sides together. And you want the pocket to face down. So it's going down that way like you put your hand in. And we're gonna sew that pocket on. If you're doing pockets, you need to do the same step for all the sides. If you're only doing one pocket, then you need to make sure you put the pocket front and the pocket back on the same side. So you need to make sure that they're facing, so one is here and then the other one's facing this way. Because if you don't, then you're gonna have a pocket on a different side. That will not be good. Now we're gonna grab, I already did that on my other ones. We're gonna grab the skirt and we're gonna place it right sides together. If you don't have pockets, if you're not doing pockets, you're just gonna go straight down. But if you have pockets, you're gonna go from the top and then you're gonna go around the pocket and then back down. You're gonna go down, around the whole pocket, and down again. And when you go around the pocket, when I get to these little corners, I usually pull my fabric pretty straight so that it doesn't leave me a little gap right there. Sometimes it tries. So I go, and now we're serging those sides together, so I go straight. When I get to that side, I just pull it straight and go around. Make sure everything else is out of the way as we go. And then when I get back to the corner again, to the edge, I make sure I kind of pull it straight so it doesn't cut my fabric, and then I keep going. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Now we're gonna do the other side, same to the other side. Straight out, right sides together. Around the pocket. We are almost done with this dress. This is such, I've told you, such an easy dress. It doesn't take very long to make it. Probably the hardest part of this dress is, let's see, attaching bands. She's not very hard at all. If you struggle with attaching bands and you want a little bit more detailed information on that, there is a video on our YouTube channel called Bands, I think. And it shows you more in detail how to do bands. We're gonna sew around that again. And so yeah, go check it out if you're having a hard time with your bands. I'll keep going straight. Okay, right here, like I said, I can stretch it out and go straight. Around that pocket. The shape of the pocket doesn't really concern me very much. So as you can probably tell, sometimes my seam allowance is not the greatest on my pocket. I don't keep my same seam allowance that I do everywhere else. because I'm not really concerned with what the shape of the pocket ends up being. Since that's gonna be on the inside, I don't see it. I just wanna make sure that it's all covered up. I mean, like sewn on right. So now I'm going to grab my skirt, and I'm gonna do a gathering stitch, look, because it's obviously bigger than I need it to be. We're gonna gather, and we're gonna gather it the size of our top, our bodice, okay? So I'm gonna grab, how I do a gathering stitch, I'm just gonna do a long stitch, and make sure you do it in the right part, on the top. Don't wanna do it on the bottom. That would not be good. I'm just doing a straight long stitch all the way around my skirt, the top of my skirt. And before I gather, usually I like to quarter my skirt. Don't go back and forth because you're gonna pull on it. Just leave a long tail to pull. So before I gather, I like to actually find I meet my halves together, and then I go to the front and the back. That way I know where the front is and the back. So that way I don't have to gather so much, like I don't have to wonder so much about if my gathers are even. And then I mark the front and the back of my bodice as well, so I know where I'm gonna attach that front and back that I just did. And then obviously my sides go right there. So I wanna match that up. So I'm gonna grab where I started right here, and I pull one of the threads and gather. So I'm gonna gather like half of it this way, and then I'm gonna gather like half of the other way. And then I'm gonna measure the waist. So I gather a little bit much, so I'm gonna loosen it up a little bit. Okay? And now I'm gonna even it out. Make sure that you find your front and your back that you marked so you can even it out. Like that's my front, that's how gathered. That needs to be on this side. So I wanna even it out. You can take your time with this step. Make sure that your gathers are even. I'm gonna do the same thing for the back. Like I gather too much on the back on this side, so I wanna bring some of those gathers to the front. You wanna make sure they're nice and even. You don't wanna have a bunch of gathers on the front and no gathers on the back, or a bunch of gathers on the back, and I mean, you get what I'm saying. Okay, so now it looks pretty good. And now what I'm gonna do is I can either tuck the bodice in or tuck the skirt into the bodice, either way. So I'm tucking my skirt into my bodice, and I'm gonna meet my sides together. And then where I marked that front, here it is where I marked that front, I'm gonna meet that with where I marked that front here. And then my other side, I meet those quarters first, and then I go back and pin a lot because I want to make sure that all my gathers are pinned and everything. So I'm going to meet these sides first, and then I'm going to meet those gathers. Okay, so now I'm going to pin it a lot more slowly to get those gathers pinned. When it comes to attaching gathers, if you want, there's an option to do, you can, I've done this before. If I'm not very confident on my gathers and I'm wondering, oh, did I gather it enough everywhere? Is it gonna look good? I will go in and do a zigzag stitch with my sewing machine, just a wide zigzag stitch, and that's how I'll attach it. And then try it on and see if I like how the gathers look. See if I did a good job. I need to gather a little bit more here because I didn't gather enough. See if I did a good job with my gathers, if I like it. Then if I do, then I go back and do it for real. stitch it on real good. But I feel pretty good about this one, so I'm just gonna go ahead and go. And I'm gonna do it start at the back. My back seam is. And I'm just sewing it on. Making sure that I'm catching both fabrics, the gathered fabric and the front fabric. So I kind of make sure my gathers are sticking up. I don't want a gather to get stuck underneath it. And sometimes they try to do that. They kind of gather it in and they kind of go like this, and then you can't catch them. And then when you go to try it on, you see like one plucker. You're like, no! And make sure you move your pins. I just broke a pin earlier this morning sewing something. And it was so dumb too. I'm like, I saw it going in and I should have stopped it. I'm like, oh, maybe it'll go around. No, it just didn't. We are almost done. This is it. All we got to do now, after we finish sewing this on, is hemming our skirt bottom, and we are done. All right, making sure that they all cut correctly. Turn it right side out. Ooh, look at how cute that's gonna be. Now I'm gonna go ahead and pull that stitch, and I'm gonna go back and hem. Pull that gathering stitch out, and then we're gonna hem the bottom, and we're doing a 1/2 inch hem. And right here, because it's got this little look that it goes down, kind of like down and then over, I'll go in through the one side and then down, and then go around to the other side. So make sure that when you get to that part right there, you go in down, coming from one side. And sometimes I'll do in and then I'll go back out to the other side. You just have to stretch a little bit right here and then go back out the other side. And that's 1/2 inch allowance. A lot of steaming, okay? Make sure you pin this corner right here real well so it stays down when you're hemming. So I'm gonna take it all 1 inch. When I'm curving, sometimes I know that some people have a hard time with the curving, and I do too sometimes, so I just have to kind of tap it down and pull it a little bit as I'm doing it. So when I'm going back to hem, I'm kind of pulling in a little bit. So that's all we're doing, just hemming, and we're done. I'll make sure I take a picture of this dress. Please let me know if you have any questions about anything that I did or anything like that. If you have questions about the bands, if you're still kind of struggling with the bands, we have that bands video that tells you exactly how to do bands. I'm just over here folding my hem, and then I'm gonna go ahead and hem it, and we'll be done. And so that's all I've got for you today. I hope you had a great day. Let me know how it goes. If you're not part of our Facebook or Instagram page, please join us on Facebook or Instagram so we can see your make and so you can see everything that we're making. Our links are below. Again, if you want to enter that giveaway, all you have to do is subscribe and comment below and you'll be entered for the giveaway. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I'll see you guys next time.